In this video, I'll be breaking down how to make experimental samples. And stay around for the end because there's a switch up in the sample and it sounds crazy. Anyway, the first sound I started off with was this one shot from one of Drakey's kits, and this is just what that sounds like by itself. Yeah, it sounds kind of haunting, kind of dark. And the only thing I did to the one shot is I did it to the stretch mode, so every note is the same length. And I just turned down the time stretch, I guess, to like 65% just so it stretched out for longer. And the only effects I added was this OTT echo melt to add a bit of chorus and sound a bit weird. And then reels just for that vintage sound. The next sound is this vocal that I just found from Splice, and I'll just play that. And the only effects I added to that was just a EQ to cut out like all the frequencies, and then a reverb just to put it in the back, add a bit of space. I think the next sound I went with was this bass from Analog Lab. It's called the Tonal Contrast preset by Loner, and it's just playing these three notes, and I'll just play them. It's just following the root notes over chords, and the only effect I added was this OTT. Then I was looking for drum loops just to see how my sample would sound with some drums on top, and I found this drum loop which I found crazy, and I like loved it how it sounded, and I'll just play that by itself. Crazy in my opinion, and I think the only effect I added to this was an EQ to cut out some of the highs. Then I went on to Splice and I found this one shot texture, and this is just what that sounds like by itself. Sounded crazy in my opinion, and what I did for the two parts is, for the intro part I just had it super quiet in the background so you can kind of feel it rather than hear it, and then for the second half I made it louder so it would be more of a main melodic instrument, but I'll get to that when you hear the final sample. You'll probably understand it more. And my favorite thing that I've been doing lately is finding like a one-shot texture like that, where it's just one continuous note, super texturized or whatnot, except having the bass be different notes. I'm pretty sure Flume and Clams Casino do this a lot, which makes it sound crazy in my opinion. And then I wanted to splice again, and I found this crazy like texture reverse thing. I don't even know how to describe it. And all I did was pitch it down an octave, and this is just what that sounds like. Sounds crazy and adds so much to the sample in my opinion. And what I did in this project, which you'll hear in the final sample, is I added cuts and stuff. So it's like here, 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 pretty much at the end of every 8 bars or so, just add a bit of tension, and it's like what's going to happen next, especially because the sample builds up. It just adds more of an impact to the next part. Anyways, I routed everything to a mixer track where I added a effect track, the basic vintage punch preset, and then just a sound shifter just to pitch it down 1. I love how this sample's turned out, super dark, gritty, experimental. I don't know who I would hear on it, but I love it regardless. But anyway, here's the final sample. Let me know if you guys learned anything, what videos you guys are trying to see, and follow me on Instagram and all that at Louis Oblin. And yeah, peace.